What's up, guys? This is Mike Loris, going to be bringing you game number 2 between Quantic Gaming, now on the Dire, and Rattlesnake, I guess Rattlesnake Gaming, are on the Radiant. Quantic going to open things up with the Wisp IO. After that, it's kind of rough. Game number 1 went for a very, very niche strat. They were going for a very, very specific kind of game that it almost looked like it was going to work. There was a couple of moments in the early mid-game where you had the Bat Rider moving around, where you had the Clinks finding picks with that Orchid of the Malevolence once he did pick that up. But Rattlesnake, they weathered that storm, and really, I mean, they were the ones setting the tempo for most of the game. So really, there wasn't much that Quantic could have done with the lineup they had after a certain point. Rattlesnake really took the heat to Quantic. Really, that didn't let them play the way that they wanted to play. That pushing lineup from Rattlesnake with the DK as well as the Chen, not to mention the fact that there was the Shadow Fiend to raise the creep wave dead. It worked pretty well for Rattlesnake, so we'll see if they can make a repeat happen, and we'll try to get themselves into Group B of the International 3, or if Quantic can make a little bit of a comeback. Of course, you're probably seeing this on the Quantic Gaming YouTube channel, so of course I'm going to be a little bit biased, but I'm going to try to be as not biased as possible. Right off the bat, we see Quantic Gaming opening up with the signature Western combo of the Wisp, and the CK has caused so many problems for the Eastern teams because, well, they haven't really seen that much Wisp, or at least that was, a couple weeks, couple months ago. We'll see if Rattlesnake have what it takes to adapt to this. Oh yeah, just another reminder, I am casting this on a different set, so if settings or audio is not exactly the same, that is why. DK as well as the Visage being banned out by Quantic, recognizing the fact that that mid lane DK was, it turned out to be a fairly huge threat. Rattlesnake actually going to go with the Chen and Razor after their tree as well as OD picks. Really just solid bans all around. The Alchemist, a little bit of a wonky ban, but it is a rather large threat that's versatility is very, very hard to counter. And okay, so Rattlesnake gonna go with the Nyx Assassin, Darkseer, as well as the Gyrocopter. Nyx Assassin, did some pretty good work in that other game as well. Those Vendetta hits certainly hit hard, but of course it does help that Quantic's last lineup was fairly soft. There weren't many heroes that I would call tanky. Darkseer was one of them, but you just don't go for the Darkseer with that Nyx Assassin. Just pop the very soft Enchantress, pop the Clinks, pop whoever you want with that Vendetta. They're most likely going to die. But Nyx, Darkseer, as well as Gyrocopter, Rattlesnake setting up for some pretty good lanes, and they're actually going to go for a Tidehunter. It's a very peculiar pick right there. Tidehunter is a hero that has fallen out of favor a lot recently, and well, there you could argue all day as to why, but for my personal reason, it's that teams don't really like high cooldown, high impact spells. Tidehunter has fallen off. We don't see as much Enigma anymore. We don't see what's-his-face. We don't see Brewmaster much anymore, and that's because, hey, if you derp up a team fight, you're screwed. You're not going to be able to buy back and kind of salvage it. You want to have this ability to constantly fight, and that's what Quantic Gaming's lineup is more angled towards. Nature's Prophet Ultimate, you don't need that to win a fight. Keeper of the Light, yes, it helps. That Blinding Light is very good, but it just helps. CK's Ultimate just helps. Even without that, his Reality Rift Chaos Bolt does a lot of damage. With Rattlesnake, if you pick up a Tidehunter, I mean, Gush and Anchor Smash is kind of nice, but other than that, Tidehunter can pretty much be ignored. His Ravage is what really is a make or break kind of spell, and just on the off chance that it is a break, you really don't want to have that in your team, at least, most of the time. However, you can't really underestimate the impact of a 4 or 5 man Ravage. Hell, even a 3-man Ravage will make the enemies very, very upset. The damage, the stun, all of that together is just a brutal combination, especially when you combine that with the Darkseer back wall, when you combine that with the Gyrocopter call down. That's a lot of AoE pain that Rattlesnake are going to be putting onto Quantic, and so far Rattlesnake do have a substantially better team fight, especially with that Tidehunter pick. Quantic Gaming's team fight is going to be it's not going to be non-existent. I'm not going to beat around the bush. Their team fight is very, very limited. Blinding Flash will be a good tool against the Gyrocopter, but that's pretty much it. Their AoE teamfight spells is Nature's Prophet Ultimate, maybe an Illuminate that could be fully charged, assuming Keeper doesn't get picked off from the beginning. So Quantic Gaming, they're going to go for a full-on, kind of pseudo-global ganking strat. They need to put on the pressure through picks. They need to find the Rattlesnake's heroes, they need to kill them, and they need to do it often, because if Rattlesnake gets strong enough to weather that ganking storm, Then they could, group up as 5, force a push down the mid lane. We've seen a couple of attempts of Rat Dota in the last game with the Clinks, with the Bat Rider playing a little bit of Rat Dota as well. But Quantic's lineup right now, although they do have an H Prophet as well as a Wisp. Oh, okay, that's new for this computer. Idle mouse means darker screen. That's not good. They could play a little bit of Rat Dota and try to avoid that 5v5 fight. But in the end, if it does come to it, and most of the time games do in fact come to it, it's going to be Rattlesnake who's going to take that, at least until CK gets his BKB, maybe Nature's Prophet picks up some damage as well. Final ban's out. Rattlesnake going to take out the Lifestealer, most likely expecting some sort of safe lane Lifestealer aggressive tri-lane setup for Quantic, or maybe a dual lane CK Wisp mid would do pretty well. Rattlesnake's mid lane has yet to be picked up, at least not for sure. Nick Assassin you would expect to go towards the support role with the Tide Hunter. That is 2 supports that are melee, which is not exactly what you want. You always want to have a little bit of poking, which is what Wisp does, which is what Keeper of the Light does. Maybe Wisp not so much. Not a hero with the most lane presence in the game, as a support at least, but certainly more than Tide Hunter and Nyx. And it's actually going to be a bane from Rattlesnake, so their laning is going to be very interesting, going with another support hero, a way to lock down the CK once he gets his BKB, which will inevitably be coming. But now we have a couple of lane choices. We don't really have a quote-unquote mid-lane hero, I mean, from either team, really. Wisp CK has been seen in that role occasionally, but, Quantic, their mid lane could still be picked. It could still be like a Queen of Pain or something, and they could just completely abandon the bot lane right from the start, or they could go super aggressive and do something like that. It's going to be the puck from Quantic. So they are going to be throwing a trademarked mid lane hero towards that mid lane in the puck. And that silence as well as Jing Coil is going to be absolutely invaluable for Quantic if they want to take relatively even fights moving forward in this, relatively even team fights moving forward in this game. If they don't have that, it's going to be fairly troublesome for them. Rattlesnake, still, I mean, you don't really know who's going to go towards the mid lane. It seems like Luo might be the one to do it, but Puck versus Gyro, I don't really know. There's no heroes here on the Rattlesnake side that I would say could beat or will beat Puck in a 1v1 mid situation. I mean, you have heroes like the Bane who could try to shut down the Puck, but it's more like going to be an even lane. Like, at best, it's going to be a wash. You could have the Tide Hunter go there, but again, it's probably going to be a wash. So we're now in this game. We have Silent actually playing the Wisp. I believe that was a role he played a lot when he was on Empire. So that's pretty cool. Quantic Sakshka with the sexiest of CK armor is going to be playing the CK. Go Black also heading up towards the top lane as Keeper of the Light. Funzy going to be playing that Puck, and that of course leaves fucking Mad on the Nature's Prophet. He's going to be heading down towards the bot lane soon enough. I don't know why this Nyx Assassin is still so rust-colored. It doesn't seem right to me, but he is going to be played by Lamb. Icy is on the Darkseer. Luo playing that Gyrocopter. Kabu following up with the Tide Hunter. And last but not least, we have Sag on that Bane. Let's see if we take a look at some of these item choices, figure out where everyone's going to be going. It actually looks like it's going to be a mid lane Nyx Assassin, so they are going to be putting this Nyx mid, and that means there's going to be a little bit more ganking potential from the Rattlesnake side. I do like this decision to put the Nyx Assassin there, because when you get the Nyx Assassin in the mid lane, the thing that he gets is levels. Furnace, thank you, that looks good. Oh yeah, we're cooking now. So, yeah, when you put the Nyx Assassin in the mid lane, what you get, or, what you hopefully get, what you expect to get, is levels. And once you get levels, that means you can put pressure on the other lanes. Once you do that, you don't really have to worry about them, the other team, putting pressure back onto you. And the longer that they could delay that, oh, Icy, oh, you got to be careful, man. It's a good thing that Go Black, or it's a good thing for Icy that Go Black was the one who saw him and not Saksha. If that was the CK who spotted him out, oh man, that would have been messy. There would have been Darkseer bits everywhere. But yeah, they'll use the Nyx Assassin to try to wrest a little bit of control away from the Quantic early mid-game ganking lineup. We'll see if they'll be able. We'll see if the Nyx Assassin will be successful in doing so, because in order to get that experience, first he has to jump the hurdle, which is Funzy's Puck. And just matchup versus matchup alone, you got to hand it to the Puck. He's a hero that could very easily dominate many heroes, even other ranged heroes. Taking to the account that Lamb is, of course, a melee hero, and then you have a situation that's not exactly too friendly, and this is still, just me watching on Dota TV, so there is probably going to be a couple lags. We have, holy crap, that's a lot of people, 123,000 people just in Dota TV, and then, of course, you have the couple thousands I didn't check on, Beyond the Summit. Who's casting this, anyway? Yeah, Beyond the Summit, Toby, we got some Chinese casters in there, got some Russian casters in there. truly is the international right now, even though it is just, I mean, it's not, it's kind of like the pre-international, if you will. But any action that is going to happen is most likely going to be on this mid lane. Funzy already 5 for 2 versus Lamb's 3 for 1. He does have his bottle walking out towards him. Yes, he does. So he'll be able to spam out a couple more of these spells. But Funzy really holding on to this lane, much to be expected. Bottom lane fucking mad. Has his lane been getting pushed towards him just a little bit. Luo as well as Kabu, just trying to deny this creep wave as much as possible. Deny fucking mad as much experience as possible. But in the end, he's going to get a little bit at least. And he's not going to get as much as Icy, however, who has abandoned the bottom lane completely. It means that he is going to be jungling as quickly as he can. He's taking quite a beating from those centaurs, but he will be able to survive. Sakcha will receive a lane of free farm because of that. Go Black, as well as Silent, now do have the, I guess, ability to move around. Unfortunately for them, these two heroes are very much so babysitting heroes. Keeper the Light as well as Wisp aren't really heroes that could go and make stuff happen by themselves. Not like Tidehunter as well as Bane. I mean, if there was no one on this bottom lane, Luo would be completely fine. You would have the Bane walking around, you have the Tidehunter walking around, and those two heroes can get kills when paired together. Keeper the Light Wisp, it's a little bit more difficult to accomplish. So they're most likely going to be sticking onto that top lane, trying to make sure that the CK is getting as safe farm as possible, making sure the creep wave doesn't get too out of control, and then it should be fine. But in the long run, we do have fucking Mad, who is sitting down here on the bottom lane, has been relatively unsuccessful at drawing any creeps towards him. Now Funzy in the mid lane can take a good bit of damage, should be just fine. No, he actually doesn't have any mana. This is first blood right here. Funzy is going to get swatted down by the hammerhead shark of the Tidehunter. Kabu draws first blood onto Funzy. That mana burn, man, really stacking up, and Puck, caught without his bottle, is going to end up giving a very huge advantage towards the Rattlesnake side. Not just the Tidehunter, who has really been going very light on the gold and experience. I mean, it is a sport Tidehunter, but also for Lamb. That couple seconds where Funzy was not there meant that he had a little more experience, especially when you combine that with the fact that he was there involved in the kill. He's going to get these levels, and the faster he gets to level 6, the faster he could leave this lane. Funzy is going to try to harass Lamb back, but that Spike Carapace is going to make it very difficult for him to do so. So already Rattlesnake starting off this game number 2 with a very well-timed gank, burning out the mana from Puck. I said he was fine as soon as he got ganked, but that did not take into account the fact that Puck was out of mana. If there was an Illusory Orb, I still maintain that Puck would have been fine, but unfortunately for him, there was not. We do see Icy moving back towards the top lane now as the Darkseer. He has the level 2 Ion Shell, so it can put a little bit of poking harassment onto the CK. Darkseer still has to be a little bit careful. If Silent or Go Black, or ideally both of them, catch the Darkseer out of position, then that could be the death of him. But he has returned to the lane, whereas fucking Mad has abandoned his. So we're seeing a pretty even mix and match of laning and jungling from the two off-lane heroes. But so far this game, aside from the first blood, relatively stable, and we're most likely just going to be seeing it continue in a relatively slow manner moving forward until, of course, Rattlesnake decides to make a push. Do have the Ring of Basilius turned on Kabu. Does have that Anchor Smash to try to, whittle down the creep wave just a little bit faster. For this tower, you're going to take a good amount of damage unless it's fortified, which it is fortified. So they're going to try to delay this push Quantic as much as they possibly can. Rotation downward is going to be Go Black, but he's probably going to run straight into Sag. He doesn't have any vision of him. I mean, the Radiant have vision of Go Black, so it's got to be Go Black being a little bit careful. Fucking Mad. Moving down towards bot lane, but still only a level 2 Nature Prophet. Can't really do much unless he catches out this Bane all alone with possibly Go Black support. It looks like Sag still very secure on that lane. Now Luo diving deep after the tower does go down. They know where Go Black is. They know where fucking Mad is. But in the end, they cannot get their claws into either one of them. So it is going to be Rattlesnake taking the first tower down relatively easily as well. Go Black kind of walled off by that Bane who was just sitting in his ancient jungle area. Whether or not he knew that, I guess it seemed like he did know that. If he went straight forward, it probably would have been his death. Even though Gyrocopter is going for the classic, full-on carry Gyrocopter kind of setup with the flat cannon maxed out as opposed to the early game pressure, the Rocket Barrage, it still probably would have been enough damage to kill a level 3-4 Keeper of the Light. I think he might have been even level 2 when he was moving in towards the lane. I'm pretty sure it would have been enough damage, especially with a level 2 Gush. That minus armor combined with the phase boots up on the Gyrocopter, that definitely would have been enough. Regardless, that is going to put a little bit more gold into the pockets of Rattlesnake. Quantic, they're still trying to build up their levels, take a quick level check. Wisp actually only level 3. I would expect Silent to, he had a free lane. He didn't have to do any poking in this lane. I would expect him to be a fairly higher level. If he was just like pulling and stacking freely, I think he probably could have been level 4 when I checked on him at least. I mean, Sasha is level 6 right now, but you can't really get the Wisp CK combination going if there's no heroes around, and the best way to, remedy that is to go get relocate and then, move yourself towards the enemy heroes. That relocate is a long ways off. In the meantime, Lamb with the Vendetta is going to just do a little bit of poking. Gonna retreat out of there with that haste rune, Zoidberging it all the way on out of there. Gonna run into Funzy, possibly. Funzy doesn't have nearly enough to deal with this. Level 6 on this Puck. Did he? No, he didn't get any stats. He was holding a skill point. Okay, I'm like, how the hell are you going to run a Puck mid and get stats? It makes no sense, really. Mid lane continues to be just a poking war for now. We do see Go Black and Silent trying to do their best to, try to roam around and put some pressure in some other areas. But really, again, these heroes are not the type of heroes that could easily apply pressure, at least by themselves. They need someone to kind of latch onto, and that's why Wisp CK combination works so well, because CK does offer that, kind of partnered up hero to work with, and he's tanky, he does damage. Basically, it's everything you could want with the CK as well as the Wisp, but you're really not going to make much happen with the Puck, with the Nature's Prophet. There's just too many soft heroes that will not work together. And that light lag spike, holy crap. Hopefully we'll limit ourselves to, a couple of those per game. Looks like Luo as well as Sag still on the spot lane, hanging around, calling down the missiles onto fucking Mad's face. Oh my god, that damage. He just melted. That was half of his HP with like one flat cannon shot plus the call down. Go Black, fucking Mad, as well as Funzy now are on the spot lane, but unknowing to them, Lamb coming around with the Vendetta. This is the death of Nature's Prophet. I'm sorry, bro. Oh, wait, no. He bogged him up on the top lane. Now Lamb silence. He still wants to kill onto the Nature's Prophet. He is going to get it, but it's going to cost him his life. Sag comes in with the Brain Stab to finish out the Keeper of Light. Teleportation coming in. It's going to be Sasha. Gonna land the reality. We have 2 seconds stun onto the Bane Elemental. He's going to go down as well. Can Kabu escape? He will, as Stock does not choose to pursue that Tide Hunter. But yeah, a little bit of a misplay coming out from Nick Assassin. Normally you would say, hey, bro, target the ground. You can't possibly miss, but he targeted the hero and the fog really screwed him over. He could have easily picked up the Nature's Prophet and then, gotten out the same way that he came in. But instead, it ended up getting himself killed. Sag definitely, I would say, did not want to engage on that fight. You don't really want to dive tier 2 towers alone as a Bane Elemental level 5. Would not recommend that, so he probably wanted to avoid that fight as well, but they needed to secure that Nature's Prophet kill. They invested a lot of heroes up on that top lane, a lot of time from Nick Assassin, and it was one nuke to kill. But the rest of Quantic were there. That Silence really hitting hard. Now Lamb looking for Silence. He's going to be spotted out by that sentry, and wow, just cutting through the trees. Sock is here. Lamb is stunned, but there's no more True Sight out of the range of the sentry. And unfortunately for Quantic, if they did have True Sight, that definitely would have been a kill. Nick Assassin Spike Carapace probably wouldn't have helped him enough to get out of the clutches of a level 8 CK. Maxed out that CK Bolt, maxed out the Reality Rift, and that's a very dead bug. But Lamb, he didn't get a kill, but at the same time, he didn't die either, so I guess you can't be too greedy with these things. They're going to go instead for the mid lane. Going to send a couple of orbs down is Funzy. Try to push this back as much as he can, but Quantic have yet to turn on the aggression dial. They've kind of been on the defensive. It's been Rattlesnake with the supports that are roaming, with the kind of, well, I guess not supports, Nick Assassin not being played in such a capacity. With these early game roams from Rattlesnake, they're really setting the tempo of this game, and they're going to keep doing it. They have a smoke now up. Nick Assassin waiting for his Vendetta in a couple seconds. He's going to pop that and try to most likely get a kill on that Nature's Prophet. At least try to scout out what's happening without revealing the fact that Bane Elemental is also smoked. Luo possibly could just be setting up for a bait. There are still 2 heroes on the spot lane. Fucking Mad's got to be careful. Here comes Lamb with Vendetta. He will go into the tower range for the Impale. He's thinking about it. He misses! Oh, Lamb, what happened, bro? Here comes the relocate, though. Level 6, and wow, CK annihilates the Nick, but he's going to take a lot of damage himself. A lot of damage from Luo. It has stopped, so he's going to turn around with the Reality Rift. 4-second stun in tower range. This Gyrocopter's in trouble. He's going to go down. Sag as well as Kabu now on the run. Can Funzy chase this? He has his orb in 3, 2, 1. Who's he going to go for? Sag is going to teleport away. Looks like it's going to be Kabu who's going to be in a little bit of risk. Funzy's going to throw the orb. Kabu's got to juke it out. He does jaunt towards it, and the teleport out. Is there enough with Silence? There is enough damage. Tidehunter goes down, and Quantic makes the defense. Honestly, didn't look that great for them as soon as CK jumped in and lost pretty much all of his HP. But the Wisp, with that magic wand, sharing that HP, sharing that mana, and making sure that the CK got everything done. Now top lane, 3-second stun after that Reality Rift, following up with a tether. And that's going to be CK finding himself yet another kill, 2-0-2. As Quantic, what looked like to be a pretty bad fight, I mean, it actually turned around for them. Ravage was used in that fight, and really kind of questionable initiation from Lamb, I would say. All he had to do was just cast the Impale, but he canceled it at least once. He might have even canceled it twice. And then at that point, it's like, are you still going to go in on that? They're going to find a pick off on Saksha on this top lane. Doesn't have the Wisp to bail him out. He's going to try to Phantasm out of that, but at least he didn't get it off, or else it would have been the cooldown and... Oh, fun. Yeah, it would have been the cooldown gone, as well as the spell completely wasted, and he was pretty much screwed from that point. But Funzy on this top lane, running out of his invisibility room, gonna find Kabu. Gotta watch out for this Tidehunter, though. He does have Lamb right behind him. And Funzy, he could get a couple of spells on these two. 2-man Dream Coil, 2-man Silence. But he really needs someone else to follow up, and there's really no one else on Quantic who can follow up. Nature's Prophet, not a high enough level. It's gonna be an orb flying through, and that's pretty much it. It's actually to hit all three of them. Funzy landing a strike on this top lane. Definitely wasn't expecting it to hit on the Gyrocopter, but he decided to walk right on through it, so fair enough. Fucking mad. Picking up his hand of Midas 12 minutes in, considering how much of a messy start he had in the early mid stage of the game. It's a relatively quick Midas. He's going to use that to try to recover, try to get a couple more items up, and really just try to catch up. It's going to be a catch-up Midas rather than a get-ahead further Midas. But now we see Rattlesnake smoked up. They're looking for fucking Mad, and they might catch him. Vendetta is up in the next assassin, and fucking Mad, you better run, like, right now, man. Uh-oh. Good night. It's all over. And, yeah, who got that kill? Tidehunter got that kill with the Gush. Very, very simple rotation. Funzy as well as Go Black are here. Blinding Flash, and the Dream Coil only going to catch one. Lamb reflects a huge Illuminate back. Silence is going to catch two. In the meantime, Relocation has come in. Silence as well as Saksha. Going to get ravaged upon after killing that Gyrocopter. Silent going to take another Impale. He just simply cannot catch a break right now. Kabu going to get Reality Rift back from the CK. The Sagam actually gets bursted up to the high ground. Did not notice that from that Blinding Light, but 3 still up from Rattlesnake. And Quantic, I mean, Nature's Prophet still has revived. He does have a teleport if he wants to make something happen. Lamb on the run. Saksha still fighting toe-to-toe with Icy. Another 4-second stun is going to seal the deal there. And Sagam still stuck. Do they know he's still stuck? It doesn't matter if he's still stuck because they're going to chase it down. Fucking Mad. Teleporting ahead of that CK and of that Nyx Assassin, and Funzy sealing the deal there. They do know that Sag is there. Is he just waiting for mana? You gotta be careful because Brain Sap. That could hurt. Oh no, here it is. The slow torture death. Death of 1,000 stings. Funzy gonna even give Sag an opportunity to use something? No, it's not gonna happen. That was a relatively lucky Blinding Light. Definitely, I mean, like, I don't want to say Go Black didn't have that plan, but I'm fairly certain he didn't have that planned. Using Blinding Light to catch a Bane right in this little area. I didn't even know you could go here. I thought the trees would be destroyed. But Quantic absolutely cleaning up Rattlesnake. The power of the CK really shining through. Silent, I mean, he gave everything he had to make sure that that CK stayed alive for that fight, and it was successful because he's still alive. He's going to work towards his BKB now. Once he gets that, it's going to be even rougher for Rattlesnake, who had their main damage dealer, although he's not really stacked at the moment. Gyrocopter, he got picked off immediately. That Reality Rift into Tether Stun, into another CK Bolt, into mass amounts of pain. I mean, you really need to keep that Gyrocopter alive. After that Gyrocopter goes down, there's no one really for Rattlesnake to focus around. They burn the Ravage just on the 2 heroes, Silent as well as Saksha, and I mean, Saksha still made it out of there, so overall, a relatively successful fight from Quantic, despite the fact that they opened up with a 1-man Dream Coil. You generally don't have fights go that well after such an unfortunate Dream Coil. It looked like it was going to catch a couple more, but that simply didn't happen. Now, if Saksha and Silent looking for a couple more kills, not going to find anyone, going to pop the smoke. They might actually try to go for a tower on this top lane. Quantic taking a relatively nice fight on that top lane is going to put the gold advantage 1,000 in their favor. EXP has been in their favor for a little bit now. It's going to go even further in their favor. It's looking pretty good in this game number 2. Really, this is the ganking, skirmishing power of the Quantic lineup. Rattlesnake, I mean, these fights, although all heroes have been involved, it's not exactly the 5v5 fight they really wanted. There's still no wall up on this Darkseer. He's only level 8. He doesn't have high points in vacuum, so even if he does catch a couple people with it, it's going to be really hard. I mean, it's going to be hard to catch a couple people with it. Assassin actually getting the Wow, okay. Did not realize that he was there. My bad, guys. It's been a while. It's been a while. But Nature Prophet, not surprisingly, being the sacrificial victim towards the Rattlesnake gods. You know, as long as it's not the CK, Quantic's still looking pretty good. But yeah, even though the fights technically did have all 5 heroes in it, there was no real opportunity for these giant team fight spells from Rattlesnake to come off. I mean, Call Down hit, what, 2 heroes? I think it also was burned on the Wisp CK. Ravage was as well. Fiend's Grip, pretty sure, was there on the Wisp for like 1 second at the most. Rattlesnake have yet to take these giant 5v5 fights, so that even though they are behind by a substantial amount now that the CK has picked up his BKB, it doesn't mean by any stretch of the imagination that they are out of it, because Quantic, this is kind of what they're expecting. You kind of expect a team like Quantic to have right now to be ahead at this stage of the game. If they're not, then they're in trouble, because then once the 5v5s come, then it's just, it's messy. However, you know, they really have to continue to pour on this pressure. Now that CK does have a BKB, he will be able to survive a little bit more in these fights. Has to watch out for the Fiend's Grip on the Bane. I believe that and the slow from the Gyrocopter cooldown is, are all the spells that will go through the CK's BKB. I guess the Enfeeble as well does that. CK will have relatively free time to do whatever he wants in those fights. Just a question of, can the rest of his team survive while the CK is doing so? Hopefully the answer for Quantic is yes, but you know, with the BKB now up on the Gyrocopter, with the huge giant ultimate team fights, with the team fight ultimates rather, that Rattlesnake have picked up so far, it might be a little bit difficult for the more soft heroes of Quantic to survive. Fucking Mad gonna try to alleviate that fact by going for a mech. It should be done at least by the 20-minute mark, especially if he unleashes a couple of his ultimates down. Blink Dagger is up on Funzy, so could make a... Wait, it is up. He's a magician. How did he get that? He's on the courier, of course. Top lane? No. Mid lane is actually the one that's denied. Lamb instantly popping into that Vendetta form. Picked up his Blink Dagger as well, so... Initiation is up on both teams. I don't think Tidehunter's going to get his Blink Dagger anytime soon. Really shouldn't need it though. Once the vacuum levels come up from Icy as well as the Wall of Replica, it should be fine. Rattlesnake's team fight should be fine, but as it stands right now, Icy is not nearly a high enough level to make the giant team fight from Rattlesnake happen. So Quantic right now, they're just buying more and more time for the CK to get farm. If you look at the builds from CK as well as Gyrocopter, they're actually very, very even in the gold charts. What is the net worth button? I have no idea. I don't remember. Fantasy points, that's a new one. Holy crap. Y is net worth, of course. They are relatively even, yeah, only a 500 gold differential. And now, Quantic, after seeing a couple heroes on this Rattlesnake on their own top lane, they're going to go straight into the Roshan pit. This is prime hunting grounds for the Rattlesnake side. This is where you want to fight if you are on the Radiant right now, but fortunately for them, they're a little bit too far away. They are smoked and moving pretty quickly, but with a tier 1 tower still up for Quantic, it's going to be very, very difficult for Rattlesnake to make a stealthy approach into this Roshan pit, especially considering the fact that there are wards everywhere covering this area. And lag, please no lag. Let's take a look at the Roshan HP. It is going to drop before Rattlesnake can even test the waters. CK now does have his double life. It's going to be even harder for Rattlesnake to take this fight, especially if Quantic just 5-man group up in the mid lane, possibly. Or go for one of these side towers. This one's pretty weak. Top lane should be pretty weak as well. Yeah, they're about at the same amounts of HP. What I expect to see from Quantic is just a lot of split pushing right now, unless I disconnect. There we go. Should be a lot of split pushing, I would say. I mean, you have the Wisp CK, which is classic split push. You know, you guys fight, we'll relocate in whenever stuff goes down. We'll have Nature Prophet doing the exact same thing, although it looks like for now it's probably going to favor more just regular farming than split pushing. But now that Quantic have the Aegis, they have the opportunity to be very, very aggressive. Of course, since this is such a high-stakes match, you know, every single one of these games matters a lot. They might want to play it a little bit more cautiously. We'll really see what they want to do. They are putting 3 heroes, their original tri-lane, down on this bottom lane. Try to take this tower down. Do have Funzy in the mid lane. Thinking about going for Luo possibly, but Lamb is there in his invisibility form. He's going to pop the invisibility to Mists by Carapace, so, you know, everything going well for Funzy there. Bottom lane is going to get demolished, but looks like it's going to be a trade. Rattlesnake want to take down this mid lane. Funzy, though, with the orbs, making it very difficult for Rattlesnake to accrue a real creep wave to get in on that tower. Now, 4 heroes on the Quantic side. Everyone but the Puck, which is really questionable enough. You would expect to be everyone but the Nature Prophet or everyone but the Wisp CK. they're going to put some more pressure onto this bot lane, trying to force Rattlesnake down here at least. And once Luo leaves the lane, then Funzy knows, okay, I could probably go in and not get killed. But as it stands right now, the Gyrocopter is the main driving force for this push with the Ring of Basilius, with the right-click damage that he does have. And Funzy is just trying to, waste Rattlesnake's time as much as possible, and he's doing a pretty good job at it. I mean, the Tier 2 tower now is going to start taking some heat on this lane. The tower in the mid lane does go down, and the Nyx Assassin does blink on out of there. But in the end, it might be two towers for Quantic, where Rattlesnake only get one. Teleportation coming in. It is going to be Luo, who instantly gets rid of those trees, but there's the Reality Rift. 3-second stun onto him. I don't know what's happening. It looks like Luo dying very, very quickly. Icy gonna try to get into the middle of everything. Has a level 1 wall. Can't get the vacuum in. Only gets one hero, I believe. Kabu gonna get a huge Ravage off. There's no follow-up. Already everyone is dead. He's gonna try to get out of here. 3-second stun immediately dispelled by the Kraken Shell, but it doesn't matter. Quantic with a crushing team fight, taking Rattlesnake one at a time. That is not what Rattlesnake wanted at all. Their team fight is, go get in there, Tide, get in there, Darkseer, make something happen, make the initiation. Not get in there, Gyrocopter, die before anyone else is coming. A little bit of mistiming from Rattlesnake getting into that fight, and really it costed them. They lost 2 towers. They did pick up the mid-tier 1, which is going to help their Roshan, I guess, kind of Roshan Jacks, if you go back to Warcraft 3. Creepjack, Roshan Jack, I guess that makes sense. We'll help them dive into the Roshan pit later on in the game. But losing 2 towers for a tier 1 tower? Hell, that's not worth it. That's never worth it. Or I guess it is occasionally worth it. It's rarely ever worth it. Especially when the loss of that tier 2 tower means that you also lose your Gyrocopter. You also lose your Tidehunter as well as the Darkseer. Quantic are firmly in the driver's seat in this game, and we'll see how they want to capitalize moving forward. It's going to be from the Nature's Prophet and Necronomicon. I do like this pick from Fucking Mad because, well, of course, you have the Nyx Assassin who does have Vendetta. So once you get that, you'll have the level 3 True Sight, and then you'll have a little bit more freedom in your supports. They don't really have to be buying all these True Sight items. But on top of that, it gives them the auras, and they're probably inevitably going to be taking these 5v5 fights, as you saw in the bottom lane. It's gonna happen. The more auras you have, the more pain Saksha, oh god, his name, could put out. On top of that, you also have the fact that there is a Nyx Assassin dying somewhere. Where is he dying? Right in the middle lane, as Funzy with initiation, following up for the relocate. He's gonna go down freely, and looks like Sound the Sock gonna get a free trip back to the top lane. But yeah, on top of that, there is the fact that there is the Last Will. I believe that's the skill name. I always second guess myself on it, but I'm pretty sure it's Last Will on the melee Necro minion guy, which means that when he dies, that's a lot of true damage going to whoever killed it. And let's take a quick look at how the AoE is spread on Rattlesnake. Most likely it's going to be the Tidehunter, who is a fairly tanky hero, but he's by no means invincible. He's going to be taking that from the Ravage, maybe the Nyx Assassin, maybe it's the Gyrocopter, maybe it's a random Ion Shell. Either way, that damage is going to be popped, and Rattlesnake don't really have any control. Most likely it is going to be the Gyrocopter, actually. Yeah, Rattlesnake don't really have any control as to who is going to take that damage, or if anyone's going to take it at all. Gyrocopter is going to be sitting in there with the Flat Cannon. He's not going to stop attacking because there's a melee Necronomicon warrior. That's not going to happen. Nature's Prophet already finishing that up, that Hand of Midas with the Wrath of Nature. Fucking Mad has recovered and then some. He is pretty much swimming in money at this point. I guess he just spent it all, so Pool needs a little bit of a refill, but he's recovered substantially from that crappy early game, and it's pretty much all reflected in the net worth. Quantic with the gold advantage, with the experience advantage. Let's take a look at how exactly the numbers are showing you. Over 10k, almost 15k for EXP. That is an absurd lead. Roshan will reclaim the Aegis in another 30 seconds, which means that Quantic will unfortunately not be able to get all the value out of that as they would have wanted, but you know what? They got a lot of pressure out of it. They've kind of forced Rattlesnake back. Ideally, Quantic would have liked to take a crushing 5v5, we're going to kill them and then take their Rax's fight. But just having that Aegis on the CK means that Rattlesnake knew they couldn't fight, and they didn't fight. So that meant that Quantic could take the towers, which I'm sure they'll be okay with as well, because they still have a crushing amount of map control. All their tier 2s are up, whereas the tier 2 on the mid lane is the last one alive for Rattlesnake. Make it really easy for Quantic to get back into that Roshan pit once it does respawn in a couple minutes, and really just, finish the deal. Silent as well with the auras. Man, Quantic are just prepped up to take these towers very, very easily, and they should be able to do so as well. BKB, Blink Dagger, now working on a Hex is Puck. Let's take a look, keep it light. He's picked up a Force Staff. I don't know if it's going to help him versus the Nyx Assassin. I guess we'll see. There's one hit, there's the Impale. Yeah, I don't think it's going to help at all, and Go Black gets sniped out on the mid lane. Acceptable losses. You don't pick a Keeper of the Light if you don't want him to die a couple times. Now we do see Wisp and Saksha. They're going to move straight towards Lamb, who already, Funzy, has opened that can of worms up. It's going to be Puck securing that kill after Silent and Saksha get in on that. It's going to give Saksha a little bit more of an edge towards his heart. He's right now farming at a blistering rate, 12,000 net worth on that CK, whereas the Gyrocopter, he's fallen off by quite a bit. I mean, he does have his BKB, 3,400 gold in the bank. But Gyrocopter, if he really wants to win a right-click battle versus the CK, he's going to need a lot more. I guess maybe straight Butterfly might be enough with the evasion, but I mean, CK is mad tanky right now. He puts out very, very large amounts of DPS. The Gyrocopter doesn't really have a hope in fighting him 1 versus 1. Maybe if the CK gets gripped by the Bane and then ravaged and then, you know, impaled and Ion Shell, maybe if they get a Wall of Replica clone of the CK, then they could do it. But it's not looking like that's going to happen anytime soon, because Quantic right now, when they are ahead, and what they're doing is getting further ahead. They're getting these core items up, not only on the, you know, quote-unquote farmers, the CK, the Puck, and Nature's Prophet, but, you know, Wisp also getting some pretty hefty items. Vlad's Urn, even an Ogre Club working towards what I expect to be a Halberd on the Wisp. It could be, I guess it could be a BKB. I don't really see the value in that. It could be a BKB, who knows. BKB is never a bad item. But he's getting pretty beefed up as well, and if you look at the Wisp, generally you think, hey, free kill, that ball of light, and when I punch it, it gives me money. They'll be wrong, because the Wisp will be extremely tanky. Even if he does get a Halberd, it's going to be very, very difficult for Gyrocopter to bring him down. No MKB, rather, in sight for this Gyrocopter, who's instead going for a Butterfly of his own. So he'll have evasion, maybe the Wisp will have evasion in the future as well. But yeah, Quantic, they're all geared up on this mid lane. They do have fucking Mad trying to counter push this top lane as much as they can, but do they really need him? They're going to reality rush straight onto Lamb, who blinks out before the hit lands from Saksha. Well timed by that Nick Assassin. Or just a panic button, which I'm pretty sure it was a panic button. Usually you don't have it. Okay, I'm going to wait till he reality rifts and then blink away. It's just like, oh shit, there's a reality rift, everybody run! And he did run, indeed. Tier 2 tower does drop in perfect time. Roshan is up in another minute. Hopefully I'm not missing a giant team fight. No, they're just going to go straight push in. Bunzy's going to jump in for the silence, but BKB gets popped. Ravage onto everyone from Quantic. This could be bad. Dreamcoil gets dropped onto a whole bunch of heroes as well. The calldown is there. Saksha's still in the middle of everything with the BKB, with the Phantasm. Going to bring down the Bane. No, he nightmares himself. Sagan might actually deny himself from this, but Saksha still in the middle of everything, trying to bring down Luo. Where's the rest of his team, however? He's a one-man army. Heart or no heart, he is going to go down. Quantic lose 2. Silent going to take a missile or a stun or something. He's not moving. He's out of mana. He could try to tether himself away in 1 second. It's not going to happen. Quantic getting a little bit too over-aggressive. Funzy is going to pick up the Tidehunter. And how the hell did he get... What? He's in... Okay, I have no idea. Maybe a straight orb or something. Quantic definitely taking not the best fight as really they would expect. And this is the power of the Rattlesnake teamfight. Said it before that their teamfight didn't exactly come together in a way that they would want to, but that was definitely how they wanted to do. The wall dropped right in the middle of the Quantic side. Ravage was kind of placed in an awkward position, but hell, it hit 4 people, so you can't really complain with the results. And Saksha was all alone in the middle of that fight. He was doing some damage, but Luo had so much stuff in between him and the enemy team that really he was free to do as much damage as he pleased as well. So Quantic not taking the best fight. Roshan, though, is up again. This is the second incarnation of Roshan, so there will be no cheese associated with this Roshan just yet. But, you know, CK, still working on it. This new setup, I have to do that smooth scrolling thing again. Or use more arrow keys. Had that comment right before I, you know, took a little bit of hiatus from casting, and apparently it has not been committed to my mind just yet, but they're going to dive right in for the Roshan. Should be relatively easy for them to pick that up. Even if Rattlesnake want to contest this, it is too late for them. So it's going to be another Aegis going the way of most likely the CK. We're going to see how Quantic want to proceed after this. They're going to follow this up with a giant smoke, looking towards possibly Lamb in this middle lane. Funzy, if he could get a blink silence, and he can make it happen, but it's not going to happen. Invisibility rune, not even the Vendetta from the Assassin, and Sag is running away with the haste rune away from Sock as well. Silence, Go Black, still smoked up, it's not really going to matter. And that smoke from Quantic essentially wasted. However, what that did accomplish is force the majority of Rattlesnake, with the exception of Teal, back into their base, prevent them from farming, and really just buy more map control space. Fucking Mad, though, might be in a little bit of trouble. He's pretty tanky now. He's definitely a lot more tanky than the Keeper of the Light. Does Lamb want to go for this? He's going to get the Impale Mana Burn. That Mana Burn actually did a lot of mana. Wow, that's, I guess, what happens when you have 100 intelligence on your Nature's Prophet. But he's going to get on out of there. And Quantic, they're all grouped up on this mid lane. Do they want to take another fight? Saksha's BKB is slowly starting to dry up. Still has quite a bit of time on it. And he does still have that heart as well. He is pretty damn stacked right now. I expect the next pickup would be an AC or maybe an MKB to counter off that Gyrocopter. But right now, what Quantic want to do is just get map control. And by map control, I mean map dominance, because they do have the top lane pushing in. Bottom lane should be pushing in as well, as it is not, but they'll remedy that soon enough. Mid lane pushing in, so they really just want to get as much farm as they can, just collect farm all around the map. And Rattlesnake, they don't really have anything to say about this, unless they want to smoke up and try to take a fight themselves, which will certainly be risky. It's certainly a lot easier to defend than it is to engage with a smoke, especially when you have heroes like the Tide Hunter who rely heavily on positioning. It's a lot easier for the enemies to come to you than for you to come to the enemies. It's risky for them to try to break this kind of status quo that Quantic have set themselves up with. And if they don't break it out of it, it's going to be them getting further and further behind until Quantic eventually decide that they've had enough. They're going to smash in with CK, who's 6-slotted, against your Gyrocopter, who hasn't been receiving farm for the past 10 minutes. So Quantic just going to play it slow, going to play it safe, trying to get as much farm as they can. Want fucking Mad, try to get him into his sheep stick as soon as possible. Funzy is going to complete his Scythe of Vice, so it's going to be at least one Hex, which I bet it's going to be focused towards Luo. So Luo, better prepare yourself for the pig life. I heard it's not great, but you could tell me later. Quantic, they're just going to, just maintain map control. That's all I want to do. Rattlesnake, they're sitting in the base. They're scared. They're terrified, as well they should be. When you have a Wisp CK on the board, any sort of, momentary lapse of judgment, you're out of position. You're here instead of, oh, come on, lag, you're killing me here. You're here instead of here. That's you dead in an instant, especially if you're a Gyrocopter or like a Bane or a Darkseer or hell, anyone from Rattlesnake. Who am I kidding? None of them are really safe from the CK Wisp combination. So, Rattlesnake, they're staying firmly in their base. And, well, Quantic do still have a couple more minutes to use this Aegis, get some value out of it, as opposed to, just making sure that Rattlesnake are scared. Are they going to actually make a push? I mean, last time they tried, it didn't exactly go well. We'll see if they want to try for round number 2, which they might want to do. But right now, they're all kind of just doing their own thing. Luo playing with fire just a little bit. A relocate will mean a dead Gyrocopter, or at least will force out a BKB charge. And trading a relocate for a BKB charge, yes, you'd probably want to take that trade if you're in this position from Quantic, especially since everyone in your team's getting farm. We have Keeper of the Light starting to beef up with an Ogre Club. What is this going to be? It is going to be BKB from Wisp. I guess he just doesn't want to get hit by any, stray Ravage, Wall of Replica, shenaniganry. He wants to stay alive, because the longer he stays alive, the more overcharge goes to Saksha. Go Black. I don't know if he's going to get a BKB as well. It might be a Halberd on him. I feel like a Halberd would be really useful. I mean, Gyrocopter can't attack. All his items don't mean anything at that point. Curiously enough, it is going to be an armlet pickup from the CK. Not exactly an item that I would expect him to go for. I was expecting more around the lines of an Assault Cuirass, because, I mean, it gives stuff to everyone. It's an aura item. It will help them crack that base. Armlet is incredibly cost efficient, especially since that strength, if you remember to toggle it, oh, I guess he has heart, so he doesn't really have to remember to toggle anything. It is incredibly cost efficient, so I guess he just wants to get a little bit more value out of his items. But, at this point, 35 minutes into the game, you would expect the CK to be going for something a little bit more smashy than the armlet, which is generally an item that people go for first, because, as I said before, it's incredibly cost efficient. I said that like 3 times over the course of like 30 seconds, but I think the point is clear now. Regardless, it is going to give them quite a bit of stats for a very, very low price as well, and if you buy in the next 10 minutes, they'll throw in another one absolutely free. Smokes up on everyone. Nice little display of particle effects right there as we lag yet again. Let's see if they're going to crack this base. Roshan timer is down to a minute, so Saksha has got to either use it or back up, and he's got to make a choice. There's nothing worse than committing deciding you're going to use the Aegis, and then right before you die, poof, Aegis disappears, you're screwed. So it looks like it is going to be him playing it a little bit safer. Don't wait for the Aegis to time out. In the meantime, there's going to be a little bit of split pushing goodness. Fucking Mad and Funzy down the bottom lane with the rest of the supports, as well as CK up on this top lane. Going to slowly try to work down the Rattlesnake lineup. It's going to force a Rattlesnake into a position where they have to do something, especially with Gem picked up on Funzy. He doesn't want to lose that, although even if he does, it shouldn't be too big a deal. He mostly just wants to keep tabs on the Nyx. Speaking of Nyx, Go Black, I'm sorry, man. It's always you, isn't it? That's what you get for being an old guy. He's going for a Heaven's Halberd, so we'll hopefully try to... Well, that's actually not going to prevent that situation at all, so maybe he's going to tank through it. I don't know if he has enough to tank through it. It's going to need a lot more than what he has right now to tank through that. But Quantic have yet to really make a real commitment into Raxes. Let's take another look at the experience farm check. They're still getting further and further ahead of the gold. Experience kind of curbing up a little bit, but still 20k advantage, 20k advantage. It's hard to come back from that. But if anyone can do it, it's the lineup of Rattlesnake. They have great ultimates for it. Wall of Replica, first of all, an ultimate that gets stronger as your opponents get stronger, which is ideal. It's pretty much as good as you're going to get. Ravage, of course, Call Down are all devastating spells, and Gyrocopter can even pull a fast one and go for the Hail Mary. Dare I say, the Divine Rapier will come out on this Gyrocopter, but now, right now, they have to worry about, or what Quantic has to worry about is this Nyx Assassin who is pissed. Going to blink forward for an Impale. Can they lock down Satin? No, he's going to tether away. Man, what are you doing, man? That was... I don't want to say a misplay because who am I to judge Rattlesnake? They're going to turn around. Sasha wants blood. He's going to go straight for Sagum, pop the Phantasm, get a 4-second stun onto that Bane as well. Vacuum into wall. Going to catch fucking Mad only. Sasha going to run straight into that. He's going to beat down Luo. Reality Rift is going to go straight towards the Titan who gets his Ravage popped off. Silent, very low on HP. Kabu, though, pops the Ghost Scepter. He's going to buy himself a little bit more time. Sasha, though, still very, very healthy. He has the armlet to toggle if he really needs it, but it's going to be 3 down. It's going to be 4 down for Rattlesnake. And the last one, Luo, trying to get himself out of there. Is this CK Bolt? No, there is not. But really doesn't matter. That is a form... what was that? That was a Wall of Replica illusion. But Quantic clean up. Not a single buyback, I don't believe. The lag making it a little bit difficult to see through that, but that's what happens when you have 149,000 people watching the game with you. You're going to have a little bit of lag. I'm actually impressed by Valve. This so far has been going really, really smooth. Last time, like, no one could connect. But this time, everyone's connecting, and it's slowing down and everything, so... Saksha going to start beating down the tier 3 in the mid lane. They can even go for a couple sets of racks right now, I'd say. Especially if they get this pick off. Luo with a 3-second stun. Saksha having to deal with that mischance, but the Hex does come through. Is that the first of 2? Yes, it is the first of 2. Luo is going to get another Reality Rift. He's going to get brought down. So it is going to be, in the end, all 5 going down, but he instantly does buy back. Tier 3 tower still getting slowly beaten down. Mech does pop off. Are Quantic going to commit to this? No, it looks like they're going to back off. They don't want to fight this, although all the team fight from Rattlesnake is down. If ever is a time for fight for Quantic, it is right now. They're going to go straight for Kabu, who's going to take a 3-second stun in that Ghost Scepter form, so it's probably the best situation for him. BKBs do pop off Icy, as well as Luo and Saksha. They're all going to try to beat each other down. Saksha trying to get himself whoever he could find, really taking up a lot of damage with that Wisp, giving him so much HP back with the Urn charges, and just combine that with Heart and Armlet. He's going to be regenerating on Storm. Luo, once again, hexed up. He goes down. There's no buyback. He's going to drop, and that means that the rest of Rattlesnake are soon to follow. Nyx Assassin, Tidehunter trying to get away with just a sliver of HP. These Necronomicon units doing an absolute ton of work. There's the GG call by Lamb, as he himself does take a fall. With the rest of his team, the only one to survive is the Darkseer. Wall couldn't bail them out of this one, and Quantic take game number 2 in a convincing fashion with the trademark Western hero, the CK Wisp combination, putting the beat down onto the Rattlesnake's more kind of solid team fight lineup. I don't want to say more solid, but they're solid team fight lineup. Quantic are going to take this game, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. I don't have my GG button. Shit, man. Oh wait, I do. Do I? Hold on. Hold on. Where is it? No, I don't. Sorry, guys. There's going to be no GG. Oh, I do. I don't know if this will work or not, but yeah. That's going to be it. Quantic take game number 2, bringing the TI3 Wildcard qualifiers, I guess you could say, to a 1-1 tie. Thanks for watching, guys. GG. It doesn't work. Sorry. GG!